Welcome back, everyone. Ooh. I don't know which mic I'm using. Lauren. Just bugging. Well, welcome back. I hope you had a good lunch. Is this echoing? Can you hear me okay? Okay. So I always enjoy listening to the buzz of networking at our chamber events. So I hope you had the same level of fun that I had. And speaking about buzz, if you haven't already, please do visit our biz.ca booth to enter, to win gift cards to local Winnipeg shops and to find out how you can fill out your free biz.ca profile. In addition, thank you to everyone who donated socks to our collection drive. Huge thank you to United Way Winnipeg for helping us host this initiative. Donations will be going to local service agencies serving people who are experiencing houselessness. Okay, let's get this program started. So in a few moments, I want to welcome Ryan Klassen, Vice Chair of Bell MTS and Western Canada, who will introduce our 24th Premier, the Honorable Heather Stefanson. But before that, please direct your attention to the screen for a special message from Travel Manitoba.
Today we stand together on the other side of a moment that changed us all forever. One that continues to change us in ways we never imagined. Since the start of the pandemic, we've worked as one, navigating through challenges, adapting over and over. In 2019, tourism in Manitoba generated $1.6 billion for the economy, with over 10 million visitors, supporting more than 21,000 jobs. Today, like many businesses, the tourism sector is struggling to get back on its feet and is likely amongst the last to fully recover. But for the first time in a long time, things look just a little brighter. The new Manitoba Tourism Strategy will help stimulate recovery with the goal of getting us back to 2019 tourism levels by 2024. With 27 initiatives, progressive partnerships, increased funding to promote Manitoba's brand, and industry-wide collaboration, together we can make Manitoba a must-visit four-season destination. And while it won't be easy, we know we have an opportunity to grow our province into a thriving, vibrant, and resilient tourism destination for decades to come. The pandemic reminded us how travel brings us together, enriches our lives, expands our horizons, opens our hearts and our minds. With Manitoba's wide open spaces, breathtaking landscapes, incredible wildlife, and deep cultural roots, we encourage you to get out and discover, because there is no better time to explore Manitoba.
Please welcome to the stage Ryan Klassen, Vice Chair of Bell MTS and Western Canada, our presenting sponsor for today's event.
Thanks, folks. Sorry about that. I am day 3 without crutches. And as I was telling the Premier, it's really thanks to our healthcare professionals, the great work and the great care that Health Sciences, that they sort of got me to this point. So yes, give them an applause. So, good afternoon, Premier Stefanson, distinguished guests, and chamber members. It's my pleasure to be with you today, and better yet, in person, to introduce our guest speaker, Premier Heather Stefanson. We've been the longtime sponsor of the State of the Province. I think Lauren had commented that we've been the only sponsor of the State of the Province, and we're really pleased to be back again this year. And so before I begin and share what Bell MTS has been up to over the past 20 months, I do want to recognize the chamber staff, in particular Liz, Lauren, and their entire chamber staff for their tireless efforts in I know it hasn't been easy, and you truly have risen to the occasion and to the challenge of keeping us all connected as a business community. And our Bell team knows a thing or two about connecting communities. Our business is communications, but our reach goes so far beyond. As we advance how Canadians connect with each other in the world, we are invested in building better communities for today and tomorrow. So I'd ask to please roll a short video.
We're investing in that. In her.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Cool.
We're investing in this. All of this. We're investing in these folks. Oh, carry on. We're investing in this. We're investing in him. And her. Oh, and him too. For years, we've invested in better, and we're just getting started. Bell for better.
And so the work really starts with our network, which are connecting Manitoba communities, large and small, with the fastest in broadband. We're well on our way with our over $400 million investment to completely rebuild Winnipeg's communication infrastructure with state-of-the-art fiber optics. This is the largest telecommunications project in the province's history. We've announced Pure Fiber Internet service for Morden, Altona, Morris, Emerson, Plum Coulee, which join more than 30 other smaller communities already connected to our fiber network. We've launched our innovative new wireless home internet service in 17 rural and remote communities across Manitoba so far, including Winkler, Dauphin, Thompson, and Gimli. And we're bringing 5G wireless service to 9 Manitoba communities, including Winnipeg, Brandon, Stonewall, Selkirk, St. Andrews, while we continue to expand our LTE network across the province. And our commitment to a better Manitoba goes far beyond building the best networks. In our long and proud history, we've always been committed to investing in our community, maintaining major partnerships like with the Winnipeg Jets and the Blue Bombers and many other community partners. And even though some of us may be cheering this game in a different color jersey this year, I know we will all be watching on Sunday. Will you let me stay for lunch? So Bell MTS has a tradition of supporting the United Way, an outstanding organization we're all familiar with. We're proud to support them with our annual Team Bell Giving campaign, and I'm so happy to see the donation drive taking place today. We know that when we give together, we can do so much good for this community. And building stronger and healthier communities also means confronting the challenge of mental illness. Many of you will have heard of Bell Let's Talk Day, which is coming up soon on January 26th. And through Bell Let's Talk, we promote awareness and action for mental health, to move mental health forward in our communities. And in this, we have found a consistently dedicated partner in the government of Manitoba. Of course, with a new premier comes a new agenda, and just last week, we were thrilled to see Premier Stephenson has identified improving access and coordination of mental health and addiction services as a key priority for the government's new Path to Progressing Together. Embarking on a path in a new direction, Premier Stephenson is focused on working together with all Manitobans to build a stronger and healthier and more inclusive province. A recognized public figure and a passionate community champion, Heather Stephenson was elected as the MLA for Tuxedo in 2000 and re-elected in 2003, 7, 11, 16, and 19. On November 2nd, Heather Stephenson was sworn in as Manitoba's 24th Premier and the first woman to hold the office. Prior to becoming Premier, she served as Deputy Premier, Minister of Health and Seniors Care, Minister of Families, Minister of Justice, and the Attorney General of Manitoba. Her public service has also included working in the Office of the Prime Minister and the Federal Agriculture Minister. An investment advisor, Premier Stephenson earned her Bachelor's of Arts from the University of Western Ontario before completing her financial education at the Canadian Securities Institute. In 1997, she was awarded her professional financial planning designation and worked as an investment advisor for a number of pioneering Winnipeg firms. She and her husband, Jason, are proud parents of 2 children. So please join me in welcoming to the stage our Premier, the Honourable Heather Stefanson.
Thanks, Vera. Thanks, Bud. That's awesome. That's great. Let's get organized here. Just put that down there. Let's get organized here. Thanks, guys. Sorry. Thank you so much, Ryan, for that really nice introduction. And I know when Ryan and I met a couple of weeks ago in my office, he had a cast on at that time. And so, Ryan, it's great to see that you're on the mend and looking great. So I hope you continue in your recovery. Thank you for your opening comments today. I just want to thank Elder Betty for that beautiful opening prayer. How amazing was that? Just amazing. Thank you so much. And just want to also thank Clifford Spence as well for the opening drum ceremony as well. That was amazing as well. So thank you, Clifford, for that. Before I get started, I just want to, this is not a job that you do alone. You have so many people, amazing people around you that help you do this job. And I just want to thank all of my caucus colleagues. Many of you are here today. If you could just stand and be recognized, because this is about all of us working together. And just thank you so much for all of your support over the years. Please stand. Thanks, guys. Now get back to work. No, seriously, they probably will be leaving at some point. We are in session, and so I know that if you do see some of them sneaking off, it's not, hopefully not reflected on my speech, but they have work to do back at the office. So good afternoon, everyone. Wow, Lauren, this is amazing, and Liz, this is amazing. So many people here today. I don't think I've been in a room with this many people in a long, long time, other than maybe at a football or a hockey game, but this is absolutely incredible. Thanks, Lauren, to you and the Chamber for putting this on. I know there's a lot of work behind the scenes, so thanks to you and your team, and Liz, thanks so much. So good afternoon, everyone. I'm pleased to be here with you today. My first, I hope, of many opportunities to speak with you as Premier. Thanks to the Winnipeg Chamber of Commerce, the Board of Directors, and again, Lauren Remillard, the Chamber President, for the invitation to speak to today's State of the Province event. The Winnipeg Chamber of Commerce is a strong advocate and resilient voice for the Winnipeg business community, and I commend them on the role they have played to help business navigate through the pandemic. Thank you for your service to our community. Nearly 2 years ago, the first cases of COVID-19 in Manitoba were confirmed. And make no mistake, the pandemic and the life-saving public health measures that had to be implemented have resulted in the most significant economic event in our lifetime. The pandemic is global in nature, and no one country or region was spared from its destruction. We are all working through the pandemic and setting a stage for the recovery. I want to tell you about our vision and plans for a strong economic and social recovery as outlined in the throne speech last week. We are setting a new direction with an ambitious agenda. I'm committed to working with my fellow Manitobans to heal the wounds of the past and move forward with a plan to incent investment, foster job creation, improve education and training opportunities, all to facilitate economic growth, drive innovation, and get our economy fully on track. We are committed to reconciliation. Our existing commitments are just a start, as we must now move to action. Advancing reconciliation with Indigenous Manitobans and forging a new relationship based on respect, cooperation, and partnership is fundamental to our economic future here in Manitoba. We will listen and learn from Indigenous neighbors, First Nations leaders, elders, knowledge keepers, families, and community members, as demonstrated by my meetings with Grand Chiefs and the addition of the land acknowledgement in our Manitoba legislature. But advancing reconciliation means more than just listening. It's about speaking the truth. It's about empowerment and action. It's about reducing barriers to success. It's about all Manitobans having the opportunity to fulfill their potential, and it's about creating real economic opportunities for Indigenous people in Manitoba. We have only just started, and I look forward to furthering this discussion. It is vitally important we come together to achieve reconciliation. Without true reconciliation, we cannot achieve inclusive economic recovery for all Manitobans. To beat the virus, valuable healthcare resources were redirected by provinces across the country to care for individuals with COVID. The impact on our healthcare system is evident. Surgical and diagnostic backlogs grew. Let me be clear in my conviction that we do not accept the status quo. This is why my government is taking direct action to address the collateral impacts of the COVID pandemic on our healthcare system. We already committed $50 million to address the backlogs this year. But to ensure that we deliver on our commitment, we are establishing a task force that will include doctors, nurses, and other professionals to set a path for clearing surgical and diagnostic backlogs and to enhance our ICU capacity. We also know that we have a nursing shortage. We have set a goal for ourselves to add 400 additional nursing seats in our post-secondary institutions, and the practical nursing program in Thompson is set to train 20 students. We want to keep these nurses right here in Manitoba. Every graduate from these programs will receive a job offer right here in Manitoba. But it isn't just about addressing the surgical backlogs or filling the demand for nurses. We also need to ensure that our seniors have the dignified care that we expect and that they deserve. This is why we're implementing every recommendation of Dr. Lynn Stevenson's review of long-term care in our province, and we will be consulting with Manitobans to enhance and implement a renewed senior strategy. COVID has severely affected the mental health of far too many Manitobans. Family violence and addictions have escalated during the pandemic due to unprecedented pressures. This pandemic has been a call to action to help our most marginalized neighbors, and we are taking action now. 2 weeks ago, we had announced a new low-barrier emergency shelter to support Winnipeggers experiencing homelessness this winter. There is more to do, including improving access to mental health and addiction supports and developing a homelessness strategy to ensure that the most vulnerable have access to safe and stable housing. So this has been a tough few years, obviously, for our economy, but there are some strong foundations to build on. That's why I'm here to talk to you to share our goal and vision moving forward. As we outlined in the throne speech, our work has only started. And over the next months and years, we are committed to working with our business community, economic development partners, and Manitobans to build a stronger economy. Here are a few good indicators. The Conference Board of Canada is forecasting economic growth of 4.8% in Manitoba next year, larger than expected growth of Canada and second only to Alberta. This strong forecast demonstrates the resilience of Manitobans and, most importantly, Manitoba businesses. Total exports have increased 9.2%, ahead of the Canadian average of 7.6%. Our exports to the United States have increased 10.3% year to date and are expected to exceed pre-pandemic numbers. In November, we celebrated the grand opening of Roquette's $600 million protein processing facility in Portage la Prairie, the largest of its kind in the world. Maple Leaf Foods' recent expansion will strengthen Manitoba's position as a food processing leader by supporting innovation and creating both training opportunities and job creation. And we are seeing growth in digital technology. The Neo Financial Technologies, Inc., establishing its second headquarters in Manitoba, and Traction on Demand recently opening its newest regional office in Winnipeg. These two businesses will create over 400 new jobs in Winnipeg in the next 18 months. And while COVID brought the tourism industry to a standstill around the world, as our communities reopen, the Manitoba Tourism Strategy will be the new roadmap for the future of industry. We are committed to implementing this strategy. Our investments in community infrastructure and our work to preserve heritage spaces will create vibrant communities rich with arts, culture, and museums that will support our tourism sector. Through tourism, we have a plan to create a more prosperous future for Northern Manitoba. We are committed to working with Northerners to support long-term economic growth and development in the North. Northern and First Nations communities also have abundant mineral resources, and we will make Manitoba one of the most attractive places in mining investments that will expand job opportunities for Northerners. I can hear Jim Downey out there. Last week, we implemented multi-year permitting for mineral exploration projects. This will reduce red tape for businesses and help spur investment in this important sector. We will harness opportunities to use innovative technologies and create green jobs in Manitoba through a new energy policy framework. We will make strategic investments in roads and bridges and water and waste systems because having the right infrastructure will underpin our economic growth. Our throne speech said proposals for much-needed municipal investments are now before federal and provincial governments. Timely decisions are critical. Timely decisions are critical to post-COVID economic recovery and our ability to attract investments. Last week, the Mayor of Winnipeg and I announced our recommendation to the federal government to give us early approval on funding the needed investments to modernize and expand the City of Winnipeg North End Pollution Control Centre. We also... Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I think you might be here somewhere. We also agreed on funding for new transit buses, and in particular for moving to increase purchases of zero emissions buses to help meet our climate change targets. These key investments in infrastructure will enable more private investment and are key to supporting our strong agricultural and food production sectors through our Manitoba Protein Advantage strategy. Setting the stage for economic growth also means ensuring we maintain a competitive tax environment for business and new investors. To support our next generation of business leaders and reduce barriers to success faced by many aspiring entrepreneurs, we are partnering with Futurepreneur Canada to help entrepreneurs launch and sustain successful businesses. We want to spur Manitoba's entrepreneurial spirit by promoting policies that support startup and small business growth and get new products to market. We know access to capital is a major concern for all businesses. That's why we will be proceeding with a venture capital framework to improve access to capital for Manitoba businesses and to help emerging companies and startups that have potential for long-term growth and creating jobs right here in Manitoba. We need to create an ecosystem that encourages more investment in Manitoba companies. It is a priority for our government to continue to remove the barriers that prevent economic growth. Our goal is a government that can keep up with the speed of business and seize new opportunities. And that for sure will be a challenge, but we're going to make it happen. In October, total employment had risen by 84,200 jobs, and Manitoba now has the lowest overall and lowest youth unemployment rate in the country. But it is clear we have a labor shortage, and it imperils our progress. Our low unemployment numbers are a double-edged sword. We are proud to see so many Manitobans in the workforce, but we hear from you, our business leaders, that it is challenging to find the talent you need to grow your business or to reopen to your pre-COVID pandemic levels. To help fill the skill shortage, we will invest more in the skills-based economy and work with business to deliver demand-led skills training that will address labor market needs in areas such as hospitality, trucking, manufacturing, and nursing. We have a $50 million commitment for training current and future workers of Manitoba through multiple programs, including the Canada-Manitoba Job Grant, Retrain Manitoba, and the Skills Development Program. Investing more in skills development fuels innovation and resilience. A skilled workforce is an adaptable and productive workforce necessary for us to be more competitive at home and across the globe. Ensuring Manitobans have the skills they need to succeed in their careers starts in childhood. That is why we will proceed with reforms to improve our K-12 education system and to better prepare students for academic and labor market success. We are working closely with post-secondary institutions and employers so Manitobans gain the skills to build their careers. Our skills, talent, and knowledge strategy outlines our commitments and actions to align our post-secondary system with labor market needs. Our businesses have told us it's difficult to attract talent amid a national labor shortage aggravated by the pandemic. To help address this challenge, we support the federal government's plans to increase immigration numbers and shorten approval times, both of which came to a standstill during the pandemic. We need to grow immigration in Manitoba. Manitoba has a rich history of welcoming immigrants, refugees, and we are proud of our provincial nominee program, which is the best of its kind in Canada. We all know immigration and a diverse workforce contributes to a strong economy. We will be seeking expansion of our provincial nominee program. And we are going to strengthen that commitment by increasing the number of English language training programs and enhancing recognition of foreign credentials to better match professionals to meaningful work right here in Manitoba. Our internationally educated nursing initiative has shown early success, and we are committed to helping more internationally educated nurses to move into the healthcare field and help fill skill shortages across Manitoba. We know there are thousands of future Manitobans who want to come to our province, and I'm committed to seeing that they make it here. With over $2 billion borrowed to help us get through the pandemic, we must focus on stimulating economic growth and ensuring a strong recovery. A strengthened provincial economy will generate the revenues that benefit our government and citizens. allowing us to invest in important areas like healthcare, like education and social services. At this stage of our collective COVID recovery, Manitobans and Canadians are being buffeted by inflation, the greatest impacts of which are on those in the most vulnerable situations. Our government recognizes the increased need as we work to combat this challenge. With a renewed cooperative relationship with the federal government, we will work to ensure that Manitobans have the support that they need. Since my swearing in, I have made one thing clear, and I would like to reiterate it here today with all of you. My government is committed to taking immediate actions to help heal the economy, advance reconciliation, rebuild the healthcare system, and promote wellness for all Manitobans. In the months and years ahead, we are committed to listening to Manitobans from all backgrounds and perspectives on how to move Manitoba forward. As business leaders, you are the engine of our economy, the creators of jobs and prosperity for so many Manitobans. We have much to learn from your resilience and adaptability over the past 21 months as we carve our path forward. Thank you so much to all of you who are here today, who are making and helping our economy grow here in Manitoba. We have so much that we can do. We just need to do it together, and we're committed to that. Thank you very much.